Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley.
I'm Mica.
So forget that Xbox has seen cancellations like Scalebound, a bunch of delays, like
everything.
3, lack of major exclusives for 2017. None of that is going to stop Microsoft from claiming that everything hunky-dory at Xbox land.
Oh, Microsoft, you poor, sweet summer child,
Look,
you.
I like an optimist.
Yeah, it's true. But despite quite a few troubling setbacks in the software department, Microsoft says that Xbox is still clearly home of the biggest exclusives in the industry.
That's definitely a point of view. So this quote comes from Aaron Greenberg, head of games marketing from Xbox, when he appeared on Microsoft's recent Xbox panel at Gamescom.
In addition to talking up the upcoming Xbox One X, which you can still pre-order at certain retailers, unlike other bullshit retro consoles whose names we won't mention that we're all going crazy trying to get, Greenberg also dropped a couple of choice sound bites that are now making the rounds, making some, let's just say, interesting claims about Xbox One's exclusive situation.
Which, to some degree, you understand at an event, you're there to talk up your product.
Right.
At this one, Greenberg said, people pick Xbox because we have the biggest franchises, the biggest exclusives, whether you're a fan of Halo, or Gears of War, or Forza. All three?
All three of those.
Any of the three, pick one.
He went on to say, this holiday, personally, I'm really excited because Xbox One will be the only console where you will be able to play Forza 7, Cuphead, and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which we are super excited about. Also timed with the Xbox One X launch, we will have Super Lucky's Tale coming, and that's exclusive, but it doesn't stop there, because into the spring, we have Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, and Crackdown 3. So we're basically non-stop hitting our fans with more and more exclusive titles, so there will be tons of great games to play.
Oh boy. Okay, look. This is a bunch of marketing talk. That's Greenberg's job. That's what he does. He's there to market. He's there to convince you to buy an Xbox. But even still, few funny things about the quote.
For one, it seems just a bit in denial about the current conversation happening around the Xbox itself, thanks to some of their most notable titles running into constant delays, like the recently delayed Crackdown 3, or straight-up cancellations like Scalebound, rest in peace.
Oh, Scalebound. The interrupted cadence of all these exclusives have kind of started to catch up with them in recent months, though. So State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3 were all slated for 2017 originally, and that would have made a pretty decent lineup for the year, but now they're all 2018 titles. So it's kind of odd that Greenberg is acting like the exclusives are coming too fast to count. This year it's Halo Wars 2, which, great. Cuphead, great, but that's also more of an indie than a AAA. Forza 7, which is a great franchise, but racing games do tend to be slightly more niche. They aren't system sellers as such.
So with all the interruptions and titles falling out of their release windows and barely a launch title for the Xbox One X, fans are naturally wondering what Microsoft's plans for the future are. This is the time to be talking about more exclusives coming down the pipeline, not acting like everything's amazing and nothing's wrong at all. What are you talking about?
All right, so okay, that's one funny thing, the quote out of the way. It comes across just a little bit tone deaf because a lot of people are really excited about the hardware, really excited about the possibility, but most of us acknowledge at this point that 2017 isn't a super strong year for Xbox's first-party games lineup. And that's okay if it means that 2018 is great, but we're not to 2018 yet. The second thing about the quote there that's really not a whole lot to back it up, unfortunately.
And before all of you out there get upset, we're not talking about the quality of these exclusives. They're all just fine games.
They're great games.
Yeah.
They really are.
But no matter how you slice it, saying that people pick Xbox because it's got the biggest exclusives doesn't hold up to much scrutiny, whether we're talking the sheer popularity of exclusives or how many of them are in general it just doesn't pan out either way.
Yeah, now if you interpret biggest to mean actual sales numbers, that also doesn't quite seem to be the case because Xbox One's exclusives have actually struggled to find their footing in the last couple of years. Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is a timed exclusive, did way better on PS4 than it did on Xbox One, for instance. There have been some other cases too where some of their biggest titles of the year, like Halo Wars 2, got nearly outperformed by 1-2 Switch in their first weeks on sale, and no one likes 1-2 Switch. Quantum Break didn't even break 1 million at retail by some estimates.
Yikes,
so
I keep forgetting Quantum Break existed.
It was a hell of a break.
We don't have sales numbers, but Gears of War 4's first week sales in 2016 weren't a whole lot to write home about either, with around 617,000 happening at retail. Compared to other major releases, much less ones of their flagships, that's not a lot to write home about for Microsoft. However, some recent accidental numbers released by the Coalition indicate that 6 million players have graced Gears of War 4's servers, but that number would also include, you know, free trials.
Although 6 million is a great number.
Oh yeah.
And the disparity becomes a little bit more apparent when you're comparing Xbox exclusives to their other platform counterparts. Now, for instance, Uncharted 4 moved more than double what Halo 5 did in the 2 games' first weeks, with Uncharted 4 selling around 2.7 million copies, Halo 5 selling less than 1 million in its first week. Now, there is a good reason for that, and that's that, well, there are double the number of PS4s in the wild, and so they have that many more people to sell to. So that actually makes a lot of sense.
I thought it was just that Nathan Drake's booty was great.
That as well.
None of those titles we've mentioned are estimated to have done in their launch windows anywhere close to the exclusives Nintendo has already released this year, with Breath of the Wild moving around 4 million, Mario Kart 3.5 million, and even ARMS with more than 1 million last we heard in July.
And that's with an estimated 5 million consoles in market.
Right. And Sony's already had Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, and Crash Bandicoot in 2017, with Horizon Zero Dawn and Crash Bandicoot in particular doing amazingly well for PlayStation.
Although Crash Bandicoot is rumored to be coming to Xbox later this year. So that could be a big one for them then.
Right.
It's not really fair to say that Xbox has the biggest exclusives. You know, just to be frank, many of their exclusives don't seem to be selling the way they used to based on estimates. I think a lot of people on Xbox are hungry for new IPs. Yes, you've got Halo. Yes, you've got Gears of War. Yes, you've got Forza. What else have you got? And so many people are super excited about Cuphead because it looks crazy and original. A lot of their new IPs haven't exactly been hitting, like Recore. It didn't really hit. We'll see if Sea of Thieves does well. It looks promising. Now, if they all were selling well, that is the exclusives and the major storied franchises that Microsoft already has, we'd have more than just estimates to go on. You can pretty well bet that if Microsoft had crazy numbers to celebrate, they would be celebrating them.
It's true, but maybe at one point Gears of War and Halo were in that crowd, but sadly they're not anymore. It might have been more accurate to say that they have had the most historic franchises. That would work. You hear that, AA Ron?
Or if you say we have some of the biggest franchises, that's true as well.
Yeah.
None of that's even really mentioning that in the quote, Greenberg is still touting PUBG, which, as we've already discussed in another video this week, it's sounding more and more like it might be a timed console exclusive for Xbox anyway, because they aren't buckling down and saying exclusively on Xbox. The word, like, they're fiddling around it a little bit, which implies that it's probably going to come to other platforms too.
Part of the reason Microsoft may be flipping on the narrative about their exclusives could be related to some of the recent reports about what they're actually working on. Last month, one insider claimed that the company hadn't made any significant new investments in first-party titles, despite Microsoft indicating the opposite.
Well, so maybe for now the strategy is to ignore it. It'll go away.
Oh,
I mean,
solid.
Look, the Xbox One X is going to be a powerful console.
It's true.
And it's getting updates for 100 different games that are all gonna look that much better on it.
Yeah, so we'll see how it all works out for them with the launch of the Xbox One X this fall, and whether or not titles like Crackdown 3 turn into a hit for the system, or, you know, come out in general.
I want Crackdown 3 to do well. I want Sea of Thieves to do well. Cuphead, I think, is gonna be amazing. If they can get their lineups in order, I think there's a lot of potential. I love Xbox. I have a lot of history with Xbox. I want it to do well, but I have to recognize that claiming that it's the biggest exclusives right now isn't quite accurate. At least I don't think so. What do you guys think of Microsoft saying they've got the biggest exclusives? Do you agree? Are you waiting for something? Let us know in the comments.
For future updates on more executives saying ridiculous things and us giggling about it, remember to like this video, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the know.
Welcome back, Mica.
Thank you! I only messed up once.
Mica's back!
Yay!
Mica's back!
Yay!
I thought Mica died.
Aww.